Coming to you from their living rooms, it's the Day After Show with Danielle Staub and Yvette.
I just can't help myself. Pay attention, please.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Day After Show with yours truly, and shortly Yvette will be joining us. But until he does, I just wanted to chat a little bit and make sure everyone's enjoying my lives, which are the Danielle viewing parties, which I go live here on Instagram every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey this season. And a lot of you have been tuning in to watch me watch them, which is kind of funny, but it's been a lot of fun and it's a journey. And as soon as Yvette joins us, we will begin unpacking my thoughts on this week's episode, that is. So in honor of what I always did from the very beginning, the very first Watch What Happens Live, minus the ice, actually sans the ice, I am drinking my wine with a straw tonight. So here you go. And these straws are epic. I'll make sure to share information about them. Who's drinking with me? Is anybody drinking with me? Little waves? No? Oh, hi, darling. Whoever called me darling, I'm calling that back. Thank you. I'm sure you look divine too. I am an OG. Thanks for that, honey. I also have my very own proper pillow. You gotta love it. You know, you don't have to say it. You just act like one. Anybody can be one. Just have to behave nicely, properly, so to speak. So, I think this week was about, I don't know, except with the exception of the medium, it was pretty boring. Like, I nearly dozed off a few times. But, you know, I don't know what it is. I've never watched before, so now I can see things from a different perspective. Yvette will be here any minute, whoever asked. I've never really watched so closely. I've been amongst them, but I've noticed, like, what an incredible husband Bill is to Jennifer. I'm really liking their relationship a lot. Doesn't mean I like Jennifer. It just means I love what kind of husband he is to her, and that's the way I think a husband should be. And it's lovely to see. It's really beautiful to witness that. So I guess that's my favorite part of that the episode in its entirety. This is why I don't drink, folks. I can't speak after a while. Let me see if I can get Yvette in here. There he is. Here we are.
Hello. Hey. How are you?
I'm good.
Ooh, I missed these Instagram lives.
Screens here. There we go. Oh, shit. We don't want that. How can we make this switch around?
Like a little higher?
Yeah, my head is cut off. Isn't it?
That's better.
Oh.
This is good. You look so pretty.
Thank you.
Your makeup is on point.
Well, you know, I was raised by gay men. They taught me everything I know.
There you go. There you go.
Some things that we'll talk about another time. But I was sharing with everything. Yeah, I mean, you guys would know best, right?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We know a trick or two or
boy,
two.
And I learned them all from my Tommy. Anyway,
good to hear. Good to hear.
What do you think?
I love it. Gorge. Where'd you get that?
I'm not going to advertise for anybody.
Careful. No. Somebody might want to steal it from you.
That's a branding opportunity right there. No. We'll keep that down. You know, there's certain things I will give away, which is this, A lot of other things I want to keep for me so I can actually get paid for something once in my life, maybe.
For sure.
I seem to think that I was doing everything for free. So let's get right to the unpacking of this week's episode. I was just sharing with everyone, just in a mild moment before we really dive in, that I really love Bill and Jennifer's relationship. Don't love Jennifer because she was just nasty bitch to me, but I really believe their relationship is one of the most beautiful ones I've seen. And I don't watch a lot, I can't say that, but I worked with them. And him as a husband, like behind closed doors, he's so good to her. And I really truly believe that's his nature. And I think every woman deserves to be treated that way. And I think if that's what you like, which who doesn't, but I can't speak for everybody, I like that. So,
Right.
Gentlemen, take some tips and pointers from Bill Aiden.
I definitely agree. Based off
That
of
guy's
last night's
which is what
episode,
he really
yeah,
is.
that's a man. He stands up for
He
his
is a
family.
real man, and that makes any man hot as
Definitely. I do have to say though, I feel like I did misjudge Jennifer in this particular situation with her family. I thought that she was butting herself in and kind of exploiting something that wasn't hers to like share. But after really seeing last night's episode, I actually feel like Jennifer has been caught in the middle as a mediator, and just judging on the way that her parents so easily argued in front of everybody. This is probably something that they've done before. And I feel like at this point, maybe Jennifer hasn't been left a choice but to mediate her parents. What do you think about that?
I think if it wasn't brought up and recorded for the show initially, this wouldn't have led to this situation. Remember, they edit down, and here's a little bit of unpacking on that, folks. Yvette's asking, I'm unpacking. So let's rein it back. So the cameras arrive, they start filming. It's probably 5 hours beginning to end because they got to set up, then they got to break down. And the scene in itself, what do we see? We see about 3 minutes of it. So the mother, Jennifer's mother, she became probably more comfortable as the hours passed by. And you forget, if you're not used to the cameras, that they're actually there. You know, she doesn't work on camera all the time, and not once did she look at the camera or near the camera. So she was in. She was in her zone. She was comfortable in the kitchen that she was in every day. So I still feel strongly that the parents should not be a part of their storyline, and let's us to congratulate them, celebrate them. And I don't even agree with the burial. I think that was so uncomfortable watching those girls, and we haven't gotten to Teresa yet, but I have to jump there. Those girls read to their grandfather. That is private shit, man, and that's painful. I would have never put my daughters through that, something that sensitive. I couldn't even talk about Fendi. Not that she's not as important. She's my family member, and I loved her. I had her 14 years. I feel that mourning should not be exploited. It should just be mourning. It's private, it's painful. And if you choose to exploit yourself, leave your kids out of it next time, Teresa, please. Like, it's painful. That's painful. Just like Gabrielle getting up from the table and walking away in tears after Bill, suggested it. But I don't think this is not the place for these things to be unfolding. This is another great moment for Bill. We're talking about.
That was a great moment for Bill too. What a great father to definitely not want to put this on in front of his kids. So another kudos to him for that, for sure.
Yeah, because during those hours of filming, I'm sure at one point or another, they told Gabby, hold on. You got to stay here for it. The parents allow that to happen. I know I've been in that situation where I told my kids, you can go.
Right.
You're not going to stay here against your will. One of my main reasons for leaving the first and the second time and resigning. I just don't believe it's fair to let the kids or the parents, to a certain degree, once the audience gets to know them, so they're misbehaving as they're on camera, whatever, that's fun. You should never do anything with them on camera that's going to stick with them for the rest of their very long lives ahead, God willing, ahead of them. We are already at a midpoint in our lives. We're exploiting each other. I'm not, but I'm just including myself in there. You know, I just think that it's enough. Like, don't do that to your kids. Stop using them to feel
My
relevant.
phone's about to die, actually. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta plug in here. I'm about to lose you.
Oh, don't lose me.
I didn't have any power here. Okay, but moving into just, I've noticed that, and I'll be right there in just a second. I've noticed that they're moving into this.
Gloomy in the window.
You like that? They're moving
I do.
into this specific divide now within this next episode amongst the women. There's like team independent woman and team we should allow our husbands to provide for us. So I feel like is Jackie, Margaret, and Melissa are right now Miss Team Independent and women should be working and all that, which I'm totally for. And there's the other group of girls who seem to think that it's more all right and there's not a problem with Jennifer having a husband that provides for her. Out of curiosity, where would you fall in this divide? Are you more Team Miss Independent?
I'm both. That's the problem they always had with me. I'm both, literally. I can't pick one because I raised 2 daughters without a man's help. So anyone telling me that I'm reliant upon a man, even financially, is just absurd. I never had a man financially supporting me other than their father, who didn't do so, you know, after the divorce so much. But if a man wants to take care of me, hell yeah. It's exhausting taking care of the entire home, all the expenses, even if you want to shop or enjoy yourself. It's on me. I pay for everything. So I think I fall under the really independent woman and definitely the girl that would love to be taken care of the way I've been in the past. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with either one of them. I just think that you should pick a side because you're genuinely not jealous of the other side, which is not the Margarets of the world. Margaret is funny. Just jealous because she doesn't have someone really to take care of her. And that was her problem with me, with anybody. See, Melissa gets along with her because Melissa wants to believe, and she's convinced herself of this lie, that she is completely more relevant and the big breadwinner amongst her and Joey. I think that that's just a lie she wants to keep telling herself. That's fine. I don't think either one of them should be really proud of what they've done to make money, if I'm being completely honest. But I think that he makes more than her. I'm not saying it's actually his, but he brings more of that to the table to use than she would. And then I'm going to go to Jackie, who got everything given to her by her parents. Right. So is that really independence? What did she make to make her way up? None of them really made their way up. They went from mama and papa to husband. And then, you know, either they came with something to the table or they didn't. But you know, if Jennifer didn't come with anything to the table, it doesn't mean she didn't bring a hell of a lot more than the other woman may have. In my opinion, Jennifer is a mother of 5 children, runs a massive home and has a massive lifestyle. Again, no love loss on her, but I'm not siding with somebody because I like them or don't like them. I'm siding with right. And the right way to look at it is Teresa wants to be taken care of. We all know that. I mean, that's never been a secret. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gotten 42 counts of fraud. I mean, her husband literally stole from everybody so she could be provided with that. I mean, you know, the proof is in the pudding. But back to the other person that's on team Take Care of Me, Dolores. But Dolores would say that because Dolores literally has Frank taking care of them before the divorce and since the divorce. And then she has another man who she'll date, or now is David, and he'll take care of her too. So, you know, when you've already got somebody in place taking care of you, it's easy for a man to come in and say, that's my competition, so I've got to behave as well, if not better. So she already had that established, not by her, but by her ex-husband, Frank.
I mean, I agree. And I mean, that's pretty evident. But I have to admit that I feel like this is all kind of like another scapegoat, because I agree with you. Margaret just seems to have an obsession with commenting on Jennifer. And I'm not saying anything against either of the ladies, but it's just something I've noticed. As soon as Jennifer, first of all, before they even got to the psychic party that they threw, she already mentioned,
by the way,
which is very cool.
So into that stuff,
and I have questions about that for sure. And that's why I wore my pretty moons and zodiac kind of shirt today. But she commented on how she was embarrassed about Jennifer.
So many crystals. Go ahead.
Yes, she was embarrassed for Jennifer's Instagram stories. Margaret said this, and then as soon as Jennifer walked into this party, the very first thing Margaret did was comment on Jennifer's body, which I thought was a very weird thing to start the conversation with, and then right away followed it up about her opinions on how she looked on her IG story. It just kind of seems like Margaret has it out for Jennifer.
Well, why is she watching so many of her Instagram stories if she doesn't care about Jennifer? If Jennifer's not relevant in your life, Margaret, why are you stalking her the same way you stalked me? The only thing you can't get from Jennifer that you got from me is her husband. My husband was a pussy. Hers isn't. It's a real man right there. He ain't going nowhere, sweetheart. He'll never put your shoes on for you. I guarantee it. No one will.
Do you feel like this psychic was legit, by the way?
She's jealous of Jennifer.
I mean,
when she described
Jennifer
to me before I met Jennifer, because I was a season or two. I came back a season or maybe 2 seasons before they joined the cast. I literally, the way she described them was, I can't repeat all of it because it's literally racist, the part that she compared. She said her children look like, and it's a racist comment. So
okay.
I'm not going to say that. And
Margaret
she commented on how large
Jennifer?
they are in size, which I'm not going to repeat the exact words because it's disgusting. And then she said, but no one will know Jennifer is even their mother because she's got married to a plastic surgeon and she's got 16 bathrooms, which is obnoxious and stupid. Those things I will repeat verbatim. But I'll be honest with you, my comeback was, I'll get to know her for myself. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to go about anything, but
I hated that. And I knew her at the time. Like we were friendly at the time. But instead of me taking advantage of that, like, ooh, let me run underneath you, wrap your arm around me, I'm going to get on board with that. I would never judge somebody before I meet them. So word up, folks, those of you who think you do know me or them, you don't. So, you can keep judging, but if you don't really know us, judge us kindly then. Because remember, we're sitting in front of you, bringing you into our worlds.
I find it really funny.
Some of us are real, but right now you're getting the real deal. So pay attention, police.
Yeah, I find it so funny because you've come onto your lives and done all this stuff, and I still feel like people are questioning, your realness. And
it's hard to fake unalive, guys.
Right.
Especially when you're drinking. And what have I been doing this 9 weeks now?
This is our 9th episode.
Yeah, I mean, I let it all go, and I vented in the first couple of episodes of my, viewing parties, and that's genuine. That's real. No one's ever allowed me to have a space in time where I can do that and literally let the audience be brought into me so they can see how painful, how hurtful, and how angry I am from the things that they've done. So this is my space and time to really be me. Now that I've worked through those things, it doesn't mean they won't pop up every now and then. It just means this is really me.
Sure.
So, I'm going to say my original tagline, love me or hate me. There's no in between.
As
but
you
you're paying attention.
Straight up. I mean, speaking of real and keeping it real, you mentioned, of course, I know how into you are, your spirituality and all of that. So I knew you'd be particularly interested.
I even have a tattooed on my arms.
I think we're about to have our own psychic party soon, but I wonder.
Oh yeah, we are.
How she said a lot of things, this psychic. How credible do you feel like this psychic was? I personally feel she did say a lot of heavy things, but I will stand by. It's very possible that the things that she said could have been Googled as well. This is my personal opinion. I do want to hear what you think.
Here's the thing. There is an extreme preciseness to medium psychics. And I've worked with several. I've even had one on my podcast. They do connect to the other side very quickly. I won't speak of myself, but I do know of this because it's a world that I've been, I've dove into, with all my damages, looking for healing. It was nearly 30, I would say close to, 40 years ago. I literally was looking for just a different way. I'm still Catholic. I'm still, that doesn't change, but the spirituality of it all and the connection and to think about the possibilities of it, there's nothing better than just discovering it for yourself. But you have to be very careful. There's gypsies and there's psychics, there's mediums, and there's thieves. There's people with real abilities, and she may very well have a real ability, but the problem I have with it being proven to be a fact right now that she would be legitimate or not is it's real easy to know Bernie's name, and Margaret spoke of him. She spoke of him the same way that he actually apparently spoke about her from the other side. Do I believe she knew the information from Bernie himself? Yes. I don't believe she knew his name. So I believe that the bulk of that was real.
Okay.
100% real, because I've heard Margaret Eaton, and I can't stand that bitch, but I can't lie. I've heard her speak of Bernie and tell me the story of her and Jan going together, even though she was no longer with him. She was with Joe. They went together to hospice. She was there with him, and they also went to the funerals and all the services together because she was really important to him. So that makes it, for me, a real valid reading on her, with the exception of Bernie went a little too far.
Do you feel like this thing about Margaret in particular would be something that only people close to her would know, though, about how close she was to?
No. I mean, there can be, you could poke holes in it all day.
Sure.
I just know from my experience, the things that it was before I was ever known in the public eye. Oh, your puppy wants to play.
He's silly. Sorry about that.
I need to have some puppy kisses soon.
Sure. You can have him for the whole day.
Oh, I'll take him. Believe me, I'll take him. He'll be returned to you in like a tutu and a pink T-shirt, like
Aww,
and
I'm
Queen.
sure.
I
love that. He would probably love that too.
And a pink stroller maybe. But no, my point is that I think that if you poke holes in it, yeah, you could just really make it disappear. But before I ever became somebody that was known in the public eye, I had very distinct and precise readings. And a lot of it I didn't even know was true until it came true. That is the reading that I had before I met the father of my children. She did predict it, and she told me where I'd be. The atmosphere, my surroundings. So I could come up with where that might be, but there was no way to plan it, So she would describe something, and then when I met him, weeks later, I looked back at that reading, and it just flashed to me, and I went, ooh, wait a minute.
So you've had your
The initial was right. Both initials were right. Actually, she was so precise that he uses his first, his last, and his middle. He uses his middle name as well in his initials. So some of us sign, like mine is DAS. So she knew his exact initials.
Interesting. Okay.
And she said, this is something that's coming to me and you'll see it to be true, but he uses all three of his initials to sign things. And it's true.
Very interesting.
It became true, but there were many other factors. But what I'm saying is probably for a TV show, it wouldn't be the strongest look for that kind of reading to come across as real. But I do think the emotions the ladies were displaying were
genuine.
Yeah. Yep.
I can see that. I'm gonna have to say that overall,
Jennifer's was bugging me out. That was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, but I
a good crazy. Now I know why. She's blessed with all of these saints and angels around her and guards.
Yeah, I was very shook by that. Also, by what she had to say about Dolores' relationship.
I wasn't. I told you I'm not surprised about that one.
No, not at all.
He's not into her. He's just not. I mean, he is, but he's not going to marry her. I mean, if they get married, it would be I don't think it would be right. I really don't. I think that there is definitely someone else for Dolores. And again, no love lost, but I do not believe it's David. I
Sure,
don't.
sure.
Because
I
a
mean, it
man
doesn't
should
seem
really
like
be
that.
worshiping you. And her grandmother's right. You need to be chased. I
And
like being chased.
Frank did
Chase
make a
me. I'm not
comment.
going to run too fast. You know, you can keep up.
Who doesn't like to be chased? Or
I'm
at
running
least
on
know,
Louboutins. How fast can I run? Come on, chase me.
at least knowing that you're desired. You know, it's important.
Well,
Frank
it's
did
important
comment.
to have it reiterated too for women.
Exactly. I mean,
We
even for
have that
men.
other emotion that goes on, and it's called doubt at times that sinks in after we've given ourselves completely. It doesn't happen until we've given ourselves completely. So those of you who've had one night stands on a regular basis, you can tune out now because I've never had one. It's not applicable here. I can't defend you, and I won't defend you. Yep, nope, can't defend you. I just think that I'm going to keep my opinion to myself. I just can't.
I'm a man. So
doesn't matter.
Is that different?
It doesn't
No?
matter.
Okay.
It's nasty, and that's the most I'm going to say about it. It's nasty. Nasty.
I was just kidding. I would never do that.
But and that's
Frank
why
did comment
it's important to have that emotional attachment before you give yourself to somebody. It's super important.
It's definitely different when that's there. But Frank did comment early in the episode that he doesn't like certain things. He likes David, but doesn't like certain things. I thought that was an interesting comment. And then the whole medium thing. So we shall see.
I think Frank is concerning me a little bit. And this is on a note of really concern just for a human being. Like, none of them gave me that, but I'm a different person than they are. I think Frank, to me, he looks ill. And I'm saying this because, you know, I think that there's something that he needs to be checked for something. There's something going on there. And I see it, and I can't explain why I know these things, but if anyone knows him, I can't make that call because I can't talk to these people, but I'm doing this here and now. Let him know he needs to get checked. There's something going on with him. And I could say what I think it is, but I won't do it here live. It's not nice. But I am concerned because it's a human being. Like,
have you felt like you've had a sixth sense before? Like, have you had this feeling before?
100%, yes. And Dolores even knows that. Like,
definitely positive vibes to Frank.
Only positive vibes. Everyone just say a little prayer and send some white light in his direction to help the angels find him easier.
For sure. Overall, I thought this episode was probably the most interesting of the season so far. I'm glad that
I found it a little sleepy, but
I thought I feel like this whole season has been very sleepy. I'm just glad that we had something else to talk about that wasn't.
Why is my favorite housewife Bill? Bill Aiden.
You know, I've seen multiple memes and things like that about how much people love the men of the Real Housewives versus the women. That's too broad of a statement.
But I'm losing a little respect for him because he just came right back around and said, "Oh, it's okay. What you did was fine." Basically, they're all drinking together and hanging out.
But if he didn't do that, then can we guarantee that his wife has a spot on the show next season? You know,
exactly. So they're trying to. I'll unpack that for just a minute. So, to solidify yourself, you almost have to make sure that you stay with the group, because once you're pushed out of the group and you stay out of the group too long, unless you're like someone like me who brings it hard, there's really not much they can do to bring you back, especially as a new character. I mean, the originals, like, we have a little bit of more of stay power. We have a little fire underneath us, you know, we're a part of the gas in the engine. So the OGs are pretty much, you know, solidified across the whole entire franchise, not just Jersey, all of us. I mean, everybody that started this franchise. The rest of them, yeah, you got to work for it. You got to work for it to keep your place because you were not established from the beginning. So you might be gone if you're not getting along with certain people. And I think that Teresa was definitely told to lighten it up and bring it back around and forgive. I never saw, maybe I missed it. Maybe I've just been, you know, I was a little sad about, you know, my Fendi the last episode, but did I miss an apology between Jackie apologizing to an adult Gia?
Not definitely not in person. And they were most
Was
definitely
it
at the
caught
same
on camera?
party.
Did they film that? Because why is Teresa so willing to forgive her for that when all I did was repeat something that Teresa actually did?
I mean, my dog seems
But
to think you have a point.
I didn't say anything about her kids. I never went for her kids. I mean, you go for someone's kids. You know, like someone said, Siggy said something about Jillian. She didn't even go for her. She just said something about her. Like, I hope this happens to your daughter, Jillian. And when I was trying to break up a fight between she and Margaret in Margaret's first season, I'm in Milan, I bust every glass in the place, like smashing it like that frog game with my
I
hand.
definitely fast forwarded to that season just so I could see that scene. Iconic.
And you know, I did not have to get involved. I could have sat there drinking my lemon drink. And
Can I just say something though? Because
Mhm.
now that we're on this topic, I do want to clear this. Because people have seen you at this point, Danielle, I believe it's a lot of people's impression that you're a hothead and that it's very easy to tick you off. But that just kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier. This is
5
after
hours of
you
filming,
guys
5
are
minutes of footage.
filming, they're baiting you, they're egging you on. So people just get to see the climax of everything. But the irony of it all is you're pretty chill.
In the scheme of things, I really am. I do have a temper when pressed.
And you have your, you're eccentric in your ways, but
I really am just the kind of person that would literally float through everything and just, smile it off, whatever. But when people come for you as hard as they come for me on and off camera, remember, there's more time off camera than on camera, and they are constantly coming for months and months and months and months and months to establish that storyline for the following season because they're in a panic and a race. And I just sit back and stop working. Like, I'm off. We're not filming.
right.
What are you doing? Why are you investigating me and looking into me? Which is another thing I really want to clear up before we end, because we are getting a little bit close to, we have to do the hot topics yet. But I want to clarify something about this whole like thing about these, these arrests and stuff. And I just want to make sure that everyone realizes that in season 1, Caroline and Dina, they were digging really hard to try to find something that they could use against me. They did successfully find that. And it was, now 40 years in my past, over 40 years in my past. Yet they made it seem relevant to the present by bringing it to the present. So don't buy everything in the timeline that they present it as, because Teresa and a lot of other criminals like, I don't know, the Erica Janes and everybody else, they're famous when they're committing crimes. I was a kid. Let's just reiterate that. I was a kid. It didn't happen when I was a mother, a wife, or a celebrity, period.
Right. I mean, and
it's fair
definitely
because
see
I
that.
never get to clear that up. All they do is keep triggering and regurgitating things that, let's see, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, yeah, my daughter would have been 10, now she's 22. Okay, let's just regurgitate that. Now she's all grown up, she can form an opinion and go after Danielle. So you guys that are like the millennials, I think you are, and the Giads, yeah, because that's my daughters, the Giads and the millennials. Listen, I know you're grown up now, but do you remember watching a long time ago when you actually loved me because my girls were on the show with me and I was kind of like the cool mom? Yeah, bring back those memories, darlings, and start really being realistic, that because somebody presents something as in the now doesn't necessarily mean it's so. It's just like the 5 hours of filming and 5 minutes of footage that you get to see.
I just don't know what relevance it had to who you were at the time. So for them to dig into your past.
None yet. I was establishing, getting to know everybody, but they didn't even let that happen naturally. Their shit unfolded naturally. It was right there. Once I removed myself, I was like, whoop, there it is. It's like if I move here, what do you see? You see my mirror, you see everything exposed, right? But here I am, blocking it. Blocking it. Danielle's blocking it. So I remove myself again, and there's, oop, Teresa, 42 counts of fraud. Oop, Caroline's husband. Oop, Caroline. Oop, Dina. Yeah. There we go. So now we get the point, right, folks?
100%.
So I just want to say, I think that this is a lot of fun, and it's really definitely healing for me. And I I really think that, you know, if I were to have to go back and say, am I going to press this button and go live tonight or not? I would do it all over again. I just might have worn better clothes. That's all. It was really a knee-jerk reaction to, here, I want to be heard and I want to be seen and I want people to get to know me and for who I am. So thank you everybody for always being here. And I appreciate even a lot more of you now seeing me for who I am and starting to, you know, get to know me. So thanks for giving me a chance to do that. So now we are down.
Who are you putting in the hot seat?
Yeah.
This is a tough one this episode, I felt. To pick someone new.
Teresa for making her daughters do that on camera. Read to their grandfather like that on camera. And it wasn't fair.
But this is carrying over your feelings from the episode before last night's.
That wasn't yesterday. That wasn't last night's episode.
That's how bored you were with the episode that you're hilarious.
Oh. I know who.
Tell me.
Melissa.
Tell me. I think I'm going to put her too, but for a different reason. You tell me why your reason.
Because every time she talks about her relationship, I just flip it like it's almost like opposites day. She's saying things to defend something that actually she brought to our attention. And now she's trying to shut it down, but it's real. So there is a crack in her relationship, in the foundation. When that psychic brought that up last night, her crack is what she's trying to fill before anyone finds out her marriage is in turmoil.
For sure. I'm going to put her in the hot seat for a much more...
Let me hear.
A much more superficial reason.
Superficial?
Yeah, I just can't stand to see her in her designer t-shirts with the huge logos on it. I don't know. I feel like when I see a t-shirt that says like a huge Gucci on it or a huge Versace on it, like I get it, you're wearing designer, but every t-shirt looks like that. Like, do you feel like this is like a Jersey thing?
It really is, because she did get fined and did have to go to court. She was sued by Chanel for selling fake Chanel out of her boutique.
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
so I'm going to go with that was a faux Gucci shirt, and that was a wonderful rendition of a faux shirt. And if she wants to show me the receipt, I'll just say, okay, sorry. But, you know, also the bag was definitely real. That was a birthday present to her 3 years ago from Joe. I don't forget things.
I was going to say, yeah.
Don't forget. She was bragging about it. She was so happy about it. And she wore it to her birthday party at Rails, the only place they obviously go to. But the stick.
I'm going to check that place out, but I'm scared to run into them. But I do want to check that place out.
Oh, you'll run into them.
Oh, maybe I'll go on like a weeknight or something.
No, because they like going places where everyone makes a big deal out of them. When I go to dinner, I kind of want to sit down and be quiet and have my dinner. Afterwards, you know, I'll do pictures with people, but I would much rather just eat my dinner. That's why I came out.
Someone said not the AliExpress Gucci.
The AliExpress Gucci.
Oh no.
That's the best.
Before we wrap up, would you like to take some questions? I had a couple. There was a bunch of people asking if you were willing to take any questions tonight on this live. All right, let's do a couple. Guys, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to start scrolling through.
Did you even salute me?
I didn't. You know, I had gotten so used to us filming during the day. Cheers, my love. I'm actually so happy that we're back on Instagram.
Yeah, I love it here.
For sure. So, our first question is Andy leaving Bravo? Do you think Andy's leaving Bravo?
I don't think so. I know he's already left. Watch What Happens Live is on E! And also the new Housewives part of the franchise that is coming out. It's kind of like simulating
it's on another network, right?
Yeah, it's on E! E! is a part of NBC Universal. So NBC also owns Bravo. So they're just going within the family of NBC Universal. So NBC owns a lot. They're the godfather of networks. So
Interesting.
sorry to
Somebody
be
asked this
honest with you.
question, and I don't really know what this question means, but maybe you do. Someone said, "What can you tell us about season 4 stripper gate setup?" I'm not exactly sure what that
I
means.
didn't watch, but I know that there was a setup because they were calling me. I lived in the very building on the waterfront where Son Cubano was, and I believe that's what they're talking about. And they had the finale there. How do I know this? Because the owners are my friends, the Durans. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Alex. And wifeys. I love you. And all the kids. There's just too many of them. They're Cuban. They do
I know
reproduce.
that's right.
Actually, I'm sorry. They're Colombian. So
Okay.
they're my
Well,
favorite. So
birds of a feather.
then, Eddie kept saying, they're nice. They're gonna be here. It's fine. I'm like, why the hell would they be here with the exception of me posting from here all the time? I live upstairs on the waterfront. It's down by the water, by the ferry. Beautiful this area is. So literally, Jacob, yeah, I'm calling you out, Jacob Hubble. He was the producer, and it was his first time doing a solo. He was producing that episode of for the finale. And he tried to beg me. He was one of my ADs on my team, my crew that would come every day. And he was graduating, that was like a year later after I left. So long story short, Jacob couldn't get me to come downstairs. Eddie kept trying to. And I'm like, I'm not coming down to give myself to this show. Not for you, not for Jacob, not for anybody. I've given enough. So here they are still needing me to come in so I could be put to blame for the whole stripper gate thing on Melissa, because they would know that I would know because I was a stripper, at certain time in my life. It was for a year.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. It's my freaking body, and I didn't
Literally.
dance nude, so I still have my dignity. My top stayed on too. I do believe, however, what the rumors were, is she a stripper or a bartender? Well,
Correct.
Let's just say this. She was not a bartender.
Sip, and we'll take a sip to that.
Yes. Oh, I do have
one last question.
Should I spill some?
Ooh, I was going to ask one last question.
Okay.
But if you would like one last question, and of course, there's always time to spill some tea. I like this question. It's, if you could choose your ideal season 6 Real Housewives of New Jersey cast from past seasons, who would you choose? Who would you cast? So that's 6 of them.
From the past.
From the past, or I'm sure you could mix in if you have favorite currents as well. But who would be your ideal Real Housewives of New Jersey cast for you?
I say keep the girls as they are and bring back all the OGs. Let's see who's really the boss then. That's when I proved my point that the OGs just know how to do it. You girls are still trying, and you're still like paddling like doggies, You're like, yeah, you keep sucking that oxygen in, babies. Your time is coming. You will be axed. And bye. I never got fired. Just saying.
I was gonna say you left, and then
I left again, and then I resigned.
I mean, and the way that you were treated, I'm not completely surprised. Even by Andy, that last reunion, I don't know why it was such a power move for him to feel like he didn't want you to sit where you were requesting. I don't know why that was such a big deal.
Exactly how it happened. It wasn't a take 1, 2, 3. It was one in, out. I was medicating Fendi, who is now passed. We all know, like, that was keeping her alive, medicating her. And it was every 4 hours. But I remember saying, oh, that's Fendi. I got to give her medicine. Her alarm went off. And I remember him walking into the room and saying, they say that they're telling me that you're not going to come out unless you, and he just came in like a warrior. I think he said hi to Marty as he passed through to come into where the makeup area and dressing.
Oh, Marty was there? I don't remember that.
Yeah, if I didn't bring him, he was going to go there against me. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay,
keep your enemies close, people. Keep
I
them
know I
close.
did say one question, but for some reason, and I feel like you've addressed this before, but for some reason, this is a question that you get all the freaking time. I don't know why. And
Listen,
it's not even with you, but why do you know why Caroline and Dina don't talk? This is a question that you get. I don't know why
well,
so many people ask this,
I
but they
would
do.
blame it on the fact that, you know, Caroline's brother-in-law, Dina's ex-husband, like beat up Dina and her now husband, but then boyfriend, when they came from Los Angeles to come to, I believe it was a
Caroline's
Sacramento.
husband beat up Dina's boyfriend? Is that what you said?
Caroline's brother-in-law, Tommy,
Gotcha.
Tommy
Okay.
Manzo, who was married to Dina.
Okay.
They, you know, I'm just going to say this and I'll leave it at that. They have always had problems. Even when I was close with Jacqueline, she would tell me just horror stories. And me coming from wanting family around, I just couldn't understand why you got 11 kids and you guys are like literally killing one another. Like they were coming at each other. I mean, look at the way, you know, Teresa and Joey are on the show. Way back in the beginning when I put Melissa and him on the show, who would do that to their own family? You know, so I don't think it should be any surprise that if they weren't talking prior to ever becoming public figures, it's safe to say this stuff was always going on and it still goes on. They were not even invited to their nephew's funeral. I was, you know, was helping Jacqueline at the time prepare for that when their, you know, the nephew died. I'm not going to say too much more about that because it's not really my business, but I know they weren't invited. And I just find that to be, I found that to be really upsetting as it pertains
Sure.
to this conversation. It told me who they are as family. And I think that it's safe to understand now why Caroline and Dina might not still be talking, but the fact still states the truth that Dina got beaten up and robbed, and so did, I guess, her husband when they came back to visit the second time. And it was Tommy, I guess it's been litigated or it's under litigation that it turned out to be Tommy or Tommy and his people. But
I
this
see.
stuff was going on prior to when Dina was married to Tommy. So she brought that poor man, her husband, into that mess, knowing full well what she was putting him in danger and what she was putting him in the midst of. That's the family I was dealing with, 11 of them. All of them have children. That's what I was dealing with off camera. So I feel for you, buddy. I know you love your wife. I'm not going to get in between that. I never would, but I'm answering questions from fans. So I'm just answering it honestly. And that's the answer.
Sure. Sure.
They don't talk
All
because
right, my
it's
love.
not good people, and the good people don't even love or appreciate the family that they have. So if you're not a good person, how could you appreciate any of that? I would love to have a family like that.
I mean, that's definitely a hot take. So you
Mhm.
mentioned you had some tea you would like to spill before we end tonight's live.
I do. So we're going
Tell
to do a
me.
bonus episode this week of the Day After Show. We're going to go after the real crimes of the real housewives
Love
of
that.
everywhere. So stay tuned because we are going to definitely take care of that and get that out for you guys before the week's end, which means, I don't know, maybe soon. We'll have to see. So thanks everyone for being here with us tonight. Love you all dearly. Yvette, thanks as always. You're just
Thank
the
you.
best. I love you, baby. And I saw a couple things pass by. I don't know why I could see tonight a little bit. Maybe it's because I got my, you know, my injections in my spine and it just helped my optical,
There
my
you go.
vision. But I saw a lot of people were saying your hair was on fleek. So I
Oh,
just wanted you to know a little
oh,
compliment.
thanks, guys.
So whoever said that to Yvette, now he knows.
Oh, that makes me feel great. Thank you so much.
And you do. You look hot, babe. So
Thank
good night,
you. You
everyone.
look
Thanks so
beautiful.
much. Lots of hugs to yourselves, please, from me to you. And thanks for being here. And as always, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. Check out this video on YouTube and all the
Oh,
other day
yeah,
after
that's right.
shows.
We're going to be posting this on YouTube. And you can go up to my bio, click on it, and you'll see the link to all of my social pages. Okay? Go to YouTube, The Original Danielle Staub. See you soon.
Bye-bye.